Well, hello there. That's just weird. Oh, there we go. People say, "Hey, you're too obsessed. You about this or that. Oh, you draw anime too much. You should." Oh, you realize that anime is animations. I know, right? When someone can't figure out that anime is just short for animation in Japanese, it's not that difficult. But saying that you're too obsessed with the anime, do you actually see me drawing frame by frame? No. No, you don't. Right now, I'm just thinking about, like, what should I draw? I notice for some reason I usually end up drawing, like, fruits and whatnot. Is this considered anime? I don't know. People say that your videos are too long or something. It's like they don't realize that I made my videos for me, not really for anyone else. When I make streams and stuff, it's usually I want to express myself to the world or something, you know? I have something to say or something. Or it's like, hey, I want to show off something cool or whatever. And look, this apple is it's actually quite simple, you know? That you could easily draw something. It's like, is that considered anime? Or do you want it more hyper realistic of things? Point where, uh, instead of redrawing it, let's blend it out and stuff. Let's see. Where's my smudge tool? Because I have a lot of different things. Oh, yeah, here's the blending brush. No, it just kind of mushes it. It doesn't really do what I want. See what I'm saying? It just looks messy. There. Looks a little bit better. Does he use multiple brushes, multiple techniques? Yeah. You're wondering, like, why do I draw apples when I can actually draw something far more entertaining value? I don't. I do this for several reasons. One, it gives me some practice on to get the shapes right, especially like three-dimensional objects. Even though I don't really need is the practice of this. But it doesn't hurt to always do some of the fundamentals over and over. And people would say, oh, it's boring to keep on doing the same thing over and over. Yes. But it also frees you up, since you don't really care about the object itself in question, such as this apple. It's just an apple. But it also does this free you up in a way that what I'm talking about is freeing you up from the cares and worries about creating art. Because a lot of times people that want to draw something or paint or whatever, they get too focused on to making it perfect. And then they miss the point of the whole thing, is expressing yourself to challenge one's perceptions of things. Looks a lot better now, doesn't it? Although it's like kind of sketchy up here. Yeah. You can go into, a hyper focus of this and to be more realistic if you want. It's like, why bother? Why worry? Just like, why worry about what people say online? Or in person, for that matter, because a lot of times people just talk shit. They don't know what the hell they're actually talking about. They think they know, but typically I've seen is that they don't. They worry about their own little problems and issues. Here's something that's kind of funny. I made a video, actually I made several videos about it, and I just didn't like how it turned out. And one, I was just really tired. Like this last one was about touching grass, or that's the title of it. And I find it very strange that somebody has to watch the video, or most likely they just saw the title and start commenting, specifying someone that makes an hour-long video on touching grass must need to touch grass. I was going to comment on this person saying kind of the same rhetoric about what this person was saying on me. It's like, yeah, for someone who bothers to comment on videos that they have watched or not watched, that are an hour long about, well, an hour long rant about people touching grass. And I was gonna go even more clever with that, just like belittle the person. It's like, um, you on the other hand are like real too obsessed with this that you have to comment so badly and say, "Oh, you must need to touch crash yourself. Anyone that makes videos on this has to touch crash themselves." Instead, I just put down was something more simple and not as mean because I didn't really want to deal with imbeciles of any kind. Is this? This video was made for you. One comment was, "You're a stereotype." So are you. So is everybody. Everybody's a stereotype. Get over it. Oh. Yeah. What the? I thought I did touch. I don't know. Yeah. If you're wondering, is like, why didn't I create a brush or get a brush that's a good blending brush? In fact, this is like the best blending brush for myself that I can obtain. It doesn't do exactly the way I really want, as a really nice smudge technique, but it's a more like spreading around like it's paint, like I'm using a dry brush and squishing paint around, swiping it across. Or it being gesso or something like that. And that, I know it's all digital, but still, it's just very strange. Tell you the truth is like all the other blending brushes and tools that I have seen and used and stuff, they just never really worked out right. What I tried was okay, it was pretty good. It was pretty much like this, but there were some things that I needed to change of it. So it also gave me an idea to, like, hey, get the get my own blending brush and just tweak it until I get something resembling what I want. And a lot of times it works out pretty good about making brushes and whatever, but other times it just turns into this weird thing. Yeah. Yeah. But using it with the spray tool, instead of the brush tool, are the same thing, you know. Yeah. Well, actually, that's the translucent one. Okay, let's see. Blending. Yeah, it works a little bit better, but not really the way I want. So I use the translucent, Copic brush. Yeah. It's not really Copic, it's just my take on the Copic brushes. I've seen others that were doing kind of the same thing. Some of them were pretty good, some were bad, trying to copy the look and feel of a brush. Well, I should say of a Copic marker, I should say. More precise. Yeah. And you're wondering why I do it in blue. Well, why I do it indeed in blue. It really comes down to something very stupid and kind of silly if you think about it. In the comic book industry in the United States, they typically do is have big sheets of paper and stuff, and they start drawing with a blue pencil. They also do is make any edits, such as corrections, whatever, using a blue pencil, because it doesn't really show up. And then they do is their lining and stuff like this, their pencil lines and stuff, and then it gets inked over. But usually the blue marks are usually left alone, because of corrections or whatever. But with the original artwork, it would have a lot of blue pencil mark like this, non-photocopy blue, with their original sketching and their pencil line work on top of it to make it more precise before it got to the inker and also the colorist. Usually they did was made copies of it so they didn't ruin the original. And also it does kind of help is like, let's say if you're an inker and you screwed up the whole entire page, you have to start all over. So the best to do is make copies. And that's actually kind of the reason why I do with, comic book artists have done that for years. Some don't, some just draw with a pencil, others just, early on, just use fountain pens and just didn't really care. They didn't have a team, it was just one guy doing it all on his own, making comic strips, really, back in the days. I mean, way, way, way back. There wasn't like a set of, a standard set of rules. It just so happens. And while, also for digital art, it becomes a little bit easier so that you have fainter lines or light lines, it's in blue. And then you could do is add another layer on top and trace it of your pencil marks. And then you can delete the blue, layer altogether if you want. So it doesn't really, matter too much. You don't have to be too serious about stuff. Saying, oh, you draw anime. Yeah, for that kind of a question of saying that I draw anime or I'm too obsessed, I started out with drawing stick figures. And then my first set of stick figures was X's and H's. That's it. You're wondering, like, what? Yeah, I would do is have H's, in different ways, but I would do is have a dot in the center. I know I'm actually I'm doing it worse than I did before. And then I started doing was this, thickening the sides of my H's. I did that as a kid. Like this. Yeah. Or should like this. I usually just go. Yeah. That's basically what I was doing. I started out doing that. Making, TIE fighters and X-Wings. Oops. I would have my X-Wings like that and just do those. Sometimes those. And thickening it up. I end up going from X's to more thickening on. Then I started doing was drawing animals and plants and buildings. Buildings are actually pretty simple, just geometrical shapes. I started doing was like rough sketching of these things. Started learning of different techniques from comic books and also from illustrators and stuff, and it just went on. When I was a little kid, I was watching television. I had was my crowns, and my mom was sitting in her chair, asleep after you know a long period of work constantly and stuff and weird hours and whatever. Finally, she had was a day off, and she passed out on the comfy chair, knocked out. And on television, I was watching was PBS, and come along was a program, Dark Chest, and one of the episodes that showed up of this particular program, it was about life drawing and how to draw human figures, not just the face and the hands and the feet and stuff, but the whole entire body and how to do it. And his explanations and showing you how to do it was very intuitive. It made sense. It didn't pander to the lowest denominator or anything, and it was meant for children, this program. So I followed his instructions, and guess what? It worked. It worked better than anything I've ever encountered within any kind of like instructions how to do something within art. It wasn't just that episode. That one actually got me into being more precise in drawing, especially the human figure and stuff. So he had program episodes that would teach you on how to ink brush, do Chinese ink brushing and stuff like that, how to do, you know, their form of calligraphy that China, Japan, like pretty much all of Southeast Asia does, because they got the techniques all from China, and continuing on with their own variants of it. Even on a very simplistic shape of an eye, it can easily come out pretty detailed, more or less, just by some simple blending. I always happen to like everything a little sketchy, you know, of how it looks. Not meaning that it's, the other form of the meaning of the word sketchy. Yeah. Not the up and, it's not the up and up, whatever. Whatever. Doesn't look too impressive when you look up close, but when view it from a distance, it looks a lot better. I also like to erase with an actual eraser tool. Say, why don't you do the tapping? I don't really want to do that. I just don't like that. Yeah, too bad the guy's dead that created the art chest. He did a lot of different art programs, and they were all meant for kids, for classrooms and stuff like that. But besides that, they were quite entertaining, Not in the sense of being stupid or anything like that. Entertaining, I mean, like, enjoyable. Sometimes you can get too obsessed with this to where it just doesn't look right, you know? It's like, derpy. Now, what got me into drawing anime? Well, I always kind of did, even at the very beginning of my earlier life and stuff as a kid. I had shows like, well, they were known as Robotech as one of the series that I really did enjoy. To me, it was just animation. It was just cartoons. Uh, I never, at that time, well, I didn't know, but at the time, when I was really young, I didn't know the term anime. All I call it was cartoons and animation. And I found out that these particular ones were like from Japan because I saw a lot of this stuff even before a lot of this stuff aired in America, under the name of Robotech, which actually is three different series. My dad took me to downtown LA in the toy district, and I got to see all of this different toys from all these different franchises and stuff, all the original franchises, and I got a huge discount, a whole mess of toys from Macross and stuff, other series and whatnot, which was pretty cool. And then when the series came out and stuff, same thing with Transformers. He got me the original Transformers, and I even ended up looking for these before Transformers actually aired. Before it was actually created and stuff for America. It's just the Japanese toy lines for of robots transforming, vehicles and stuff. They transform into robots. Or you can say it's robots that transform into vehicles. Yeah, either way is correct, but so when I was watching these kind of cartoons and stuff, I've always drawn characters from these cartoon shows and had coloring books, art books, and such. I was always into art, but I wanted to do was go into animation. Not really to work at a Japanese animation studio or anything. For me, it was actually to work for the animation studios that I knew of, which weren't the best, but they were getting better and better at their artwork. Such as Filmco was one of them that I really did enjoy of their animations. It's just me goofing around. Yeah, nothing really too serious. Yeah. And actually, my video that was over an hour long of it specifying that people need to touch grass, I'm just really ranting about a whole mess of stuff. And if you actually really bother to watch it, the title is pretty much a lie. And it's really, if you think of it, it's the people that were really obsessed of watching it or to have to angrily type on there and comment about it and call me names and belittle me, but not attacking my points on the video or anything, just attacking me. And I know of what they say is really that they're just looking at the thumbnail and whatnot and not really watching the video, didn't even bother. because the watch time does not equal to the amount of comments I have. They forget that I have analytics on this, so yeah. It just kind of proves the point that you can actually have a title that will trigger so many people, get them so obsessed about how this is supposed to be. And yet, they're missing the point. You know, it's like you have the title, it's just another form of clickbait. I don't even have really good videos. I don't even know why anybody would click on one of my videos. It clearly, look at the time, length. It's like, why would you want to watch this? And in the description, it warns you. This is a rant. If you get butthurt too goddamn easily, please watch something else. The stand doesn't really work too well. Anyways. And I complain about a lot of things. I know the whole thing is that you shouldn't have those kind of people in your life that complain about everything but don't bother to do anything about it. What I complain about is things I can't change whatsoever. It is literally out of my hands. Because I'm not going to be authoritarian and literally force people into submission and telling them how to live their lives. Like, people always want to tell me how to live my fucking life because they don't know how to live their own or mind their own fucking business. Just how it is. It's kind of irritating, Yeah. I get upset, just like anyone else, over the sheer stupidity of people. But you can really think about it as this. Having something benign or whatever as a title, that just will disturbingly upset people, and having the video have nothing to do with what the title says, is quite interesting. You know what I'm going to end up doing? Is this. So all I'm going to do is make a whole mess of videos of sheer nothingness. Hour long, probably edit some stuff and whatnot. Clips and whatever. I'm thinking on the fly right now. Okay? So, bear with me on this. Get a title that is, pointless, meaningless. Maybe have a thumbnail that has nothing to do with the video itself, or even the title, or the description, where it's just like another Mr. Beast thumbnail. Something on that line. And just complete madness that it will break into and whatnot. Each of these particular videos would be warning as rant videos. And it would not be a rant whatsoever. It would just be of nothing. Nothing really of entertainment value. But here is the entertainment value, is the comment section, because people will rate and rave, go off the wall on this shit, and my analytics would show that did poorly. I'll make videos that will showcase about the analytics of these said videos and all these comments and postings saying not many views for them, but yet people bitched at it and never saw a damn ounce of it. It's like, why would they anyways? It's like, whatever. Stupid. Yeah. People, mind their own fucking business. Yeah, that'll be a good title. People that need to mind their own effing business, Yeah, just put instead of effing. Oh, I've noticed there are people in chats and stuff through like different message boards that get so upset over people spelling out words and stuff instead of spelling out, instead of having a letter like W, but having it double and then U. And they got mad. It's spelled in that way, U-Y-O-U, but I'll put you as a, which I find very strange. They wouldn't think of that. Oh. So I'm gonna end up leaving this because I have just like 5% left. Uh, so this is going on the VODs and it's also going on my YouTube channel. Why not? Till then, bye. Oh.